a change is taking place in Mexico right now, and it is a substantial change. It is a historic change in Mexico. Unfortunately, the changes are not of the Gloria Trevi's old shoes have walked a murky path filled with controversy. With each step, she got closer and closer to an inevitable outcome. Under the yoke of an experienced and manipulative man, suddenly, at the peak of her career, she found herself behind bars. Today, I'm going to reveal the darkest secrets behind the success of the girl with the loose hair, who with her charisma and irreverence became an icon of female rebellion in the 90s. Her real name is Gloria de Los Angeles Treviño Ruiz, and although some mistakenly believe she is originally from Mexico City, this woman was born in Monterrey, Nuevo León on February 15, 1968. For much of her childhood, she remained sheltered under the protection of her parents, being a child who was looked after and cared for at home. But not everything was rosy in her life. As at the nuns' school where she was studying, she was regularly a victim of bullying by her classmates. Over time, the first blow that shook her stability came with her parents' divorce, leaving a hole in her heart due to her father's absence and generating a sense of responsibility and solidarity with her mother. Taking care of her younger siblings, she shouldered the weight of a responsibility that was not hers to bear. As a result of that difficult stage, the first glimmer of Gloria Trevi emerged, the songwriter with a song named What Am I Doing Here? With this discovered ability, her parents detected their daughter's innate talent for composition, a lover of lyrics, and with an unmatched charisma. In her high school days, they began to encourage her to participate in competitions, singing contests, and similar skills. She was 14 years old when the course of her life began to take shape to become the artist we know today. In the year 1982, the also singer and actress Lucerito was the protagonist of a soap opera called Chispita, from which a call emerged through the musical program XCTU of Televisa. They were looking for Chispita's double. The resemblance between them was, let's say, impressive. Therefore, her mother traveled with her daughter to Mexico City, both excited and hopeful to have an opportunity in the artistic field, in the artistic world. She could not imagine the radical change that Gloria's life would have after this contest. Considering the ease with which this woman handled herself in front of the cameras and her captivating personality, it was not difficult to come in first place. As a prize, she received an artistic studies scholarship at Centro de Educación Artística Televisa and immediately moved to Mexico City to fulfill her dream. A teenager full of aspirations and fantasies in which she shared her controversial yet original music with the world. She fulfilled all her desires. What she didn't know, however, was the tough path she would have to go through when a man with promises of fame and musical success came into her life at the age of 15. His name was Sergio Gustavo Andrade Sanchez, 27 years old, one of her most recognized producers of that time. This man was born on November 26, 1951 in Coatzacoalcos, Veracruz, Mexico. He began his studies at the Faculty of Philosophy and Letters of National Autonomous University of Mexico, as well as took classes at the Faculty of Psychology. However, this academic training did not bring him the desired success, so he decided to pursue his true passion by entering the National Conservatory of Music, where he trained as a piano performer from 1967 to 1973. With an outstanding talent for music, in 1981 he was hired as a musical director and arranger for a television program called Midday Joy from Televisa. In addition, backed by his impressive career, he managed to found the Arpeggio Record Company, with which he began his work as an artistic representative. Thanks to this project, he worked with artists of the caliber of Joan Sebastian, Yuri Lucero, among others. He produced a record for the latter under his own label and placed her among the best performers in Mexico. By the year 84, when Gloria's talent came to his eyes and ears, he did not hesitate to propose a project to launch her as a singer, and so began the group Boquitas Pintadas. comprised of Gloria Trevi, Claudia Rosas, Pilar Ramirez, Monica Moore, and Maria Raquel Portillo, also known as Mari Boquitas, who you surely know or have heard of. The latter, at just 15 years old, married Andrade, who was 14 years her senior, a very unhealthy union in which undoubtedly a minor was abused and also manipulated. This is how alarming behaviors originated from the producer from the beginning of the group. With the guardianship of the minors granted by their respective parents, he did whatever he wanted with them. The promised dream of fame, luxury, and success would come at a very high price. Intimate, psychological, and physical abuse. Andrade didn't recruit young girls for a musical project. What he really did was have girls under his power to satisfy his darkest and unpermitted desires. This group did not have as much success as expected, and this led to the creation of a new character absolutely extravagant and characterized by his loose and tangled hair, old shoes, torn stockings, and miniskirts. A figure that gradually gave life to who would be a total phenomenon. Yes, Gloria Trevi. Launched as a soloist in the year 89, the year I was born, this crazy girl filled the stage with energy and dynamism. She introduced herself as a robust, liberal, and rebellious woman through her debut album, What Am I Doing Here? The song Doctor Psychiatrist was released, a quite iconic song from this woman. With it, she managed to become the representative face of a female revolution that went against all the beliefs of those years in which women were supposed to be modest, submissive, and additionally docile. This show became Mexico's favorite, winning the affection of the people and above all the admiration of young girls who began to dream of having the opportunity to someday be the backup singer for the artist of the moment. That same year, Aline Hernandez was discovered by Trevi outside a television station. She invited her to audition for Sergio Andrade, in which, at just 14 years old, she went through a shocking experience. Not only did he ask her to sing and dance in front of the producer, but he also asked her to take off her clothes, a request that was required of all the girls who were casting. What no one imagined was that behind those promises of working alongside the singer, another chilling goal was hidden. All kinds of abuses were happening behind the scenes. This producer and public figure, seen as the opportunity of a lifetime, took advantage of his status and power to gradually envelop, confuse, and manipulate the teenagers who remained under his tutelage, especially Gloria Trevi, who from one moment to another crossed the existing line between victim and victimizer, perhaps out of fear, ignorance, or even threats, became Andrade's right hand in recruiting girls, thus creating the so-called Trevi-Andrade clan. In the midst of this grotesque madness, a sentimental bond was born between them. Like many others, Gloria became the lover of her best friend's husband, remembering that Maria Raquel and Andrade were married. However, this marriage ended in the year 1990, apparently due to mistreatment and abuses by the one who allegedly forced the young woman to terminate a pregnancy. However, despite the divorce, they maintained their working relationships as if nothing had happened. After this episode, and after the arrival of Aline Hernandez to the clan, Sergio entrusted Trevi with the task of gradually convincing her to become his new girlfriend. The girl with loose hair, without hesitation, began to persuade her to pair her with this monster. Through stories that portrayed the subject as a good person, and with the premise of being in love with her, she was able to induce her to hide this information from her parents and start a sexual relationship with him. But this new relationship escalated to the unthinkable and they got married. He was about 36 years old at the time and she was only 15. After this event, almost immediately in the year 1990, Aline was launched as a solo artist through an album titled Ugly Girls, which quickly rose to the top of popularity. And at the same time would be the successes of Gloria Trevi, traveling on an impressive tour, reaching places like Puerto Rico, Colombia, Argentina, Panama, Guatemala, Venezuela, and Costa Rica. Adding to this series of concerts a historic day, December 17th, 1991, when she performed for the first time at the National Auditorium in Mexico City. The following year, a strange event would arise in the country which would now be a cause for strong indignation and wholesale complaints. Back then, it was a huge success. as the first of 6 calendars called The High School Girls of America went on sale, a material in which underage girls posed in swimsuits. Obviously, an adult material for sale distributed with total normality in front of the public eye. This project, in the hands of Trevi and Andrade, would become part of the incriminating evidence against the accusations they received and for which they were arrested. Meanwhile, at 17, singer Aline Hernandez managed to escape from her tormentor. The truth was that she didn't want to be married to him. However, at her young age, and with the support of her parents in that stormy relationship, it had taken her a while to gather the courage to run away. So, as best she could, she ran away from that sick, sinister environment and asked for a divorce. However, one less girl in the cult would not stop Andrade's disturbed desires. Over the years, one by one, young girls were added to this morbid trafficking of increasingly younger and naive girls. So it was that in the year 93, Karina Alejandra Yapor Gomez, a 13-year-old and faithful admirer of Gloria Trevi, fell into the nets of these individuals. Victim of Sergio's already known false promises, she thought her life was about to change, taking off to the top alongside her favorite singer, also being instructed in her artistic formation. Deceived by this promise, the parents of the minors signed the papers in which they granted the talent manager all the rights of their daughter, and thus she joined the tasks of the group. It wasn't long before Karina began to resent the true way this clan lived. Mistreatment and violence were the daily bread, as well as other girls who joined along the way, blinded by the desire for fame and wanting to be like Gloria Trevi. Other misguided girls, one could argue. On the other hand, the harsh reality of the famous singer was no different from the others. Although she practically became Andrade's partner, lover, and confidant, she also suffered, and probably more than the rest. Sergio controlled every one of her steps. After the show, he would take her directly to the hotel on duty. She was forbidden to socialize with other people outside of the Trevi-Andrade clan. She couldn't have friends. Trapped in the clutches of this manipulator and abuser, she would receive beatings and punishments if she did not follow each of his instructions to the letter. Probably that price was too high to stay on top of the music industry, but she was still young and the man in question was twice her age. He had become an expert at manipulating her. He knew her weaknesses and deepest fears. In a way, the performer of Le Creo was a prisoner. Many years passed in this way until everything finally came to light thanks to Gloria Trevi's former backup singer and also ex-wife of Andrade, Aline Hernandez, who in '98 published a book called La Gloria por el Infierno, whose pages detailed all the abuses and violations carried out inside the so-called Arpeggio Academy. This news swept the country in a matter of seconds and put the face of Sergio Andrade and his alleged accomplice Gloria Trevi on the front page of all media outlets. Adding to this scandal came the day of October 13 in the year of '98, when a strange direct call from the state delegation of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Spain contacted the family of Karina Yapor Gomez to inform them that a baby named Francisco Ariel Yapor Gomez had been abandoned in a hospital in that country in a critical state of health and malnutrition. Trevi-Andrade had traveled there in order to hide the pregnancy of the girl, who was only 15 years old. However, the minor lied to her parents, telling them that she would go to that country to enter a piano school, which didn't even exist. According to the official story, this baby had been snatched from the arms of its mother and taken to the hospital by Maria Raquel in the Portillo. Once the little one arrived in the care of his grandparents, Miguel Yapor and Teresita Gomez, they did not hesitate to proceed legally since they had not heard anything from their daughter for months. By March 24th, '99, they filed a complaint for kidnapping and aggravated child transgression with the Chihuahua State Attorney's Office against Gloria Trevi, Sergio Andrade, and Maria Raquel Portillo, who, now fugitives from justice, had fled to Brazil. By this time, the case had escalated into an uncontrollable scandal, and they were being sought by Interpol in different countries. Hiding in that country and with so many accusations against her, Gloria Trevi's career had been destroyed. However, their concerns had shifted in another direction. That same year, she had given birth to her daughter with Sergio Andrade, named Ana Dalai, a baby who was born in the midst of a sick, misogynistic environment filled with atrocities. She only survived for 33 days. The information allegedly given to the singer was that the girl had died of reflux, but so far, there are many theories blaming other women who were part of the clan, as well as the father himself, for what happened to this little girl. The speculations that arose around this tragedy went so far as to accuse the one known as Mari Boquitas of having disappeared the baby's remains. But months later, Brazilian authorities reported that the little girl's body was found in a dirty water channel in the municipality of Jacarapegua, in the western area of Rio de Janeiro. Without resisting and claiming to be innocent of all the charges he was being accused of. They arrived at Papuda prison, this in Brazil. 5 months later, the Supreme Federal Court of Brazil granted Mexico the extradition of the accused, which is why a legal battle began, where they argued that they could not return to Mexico because their lives were in danger. In this way, 2 years passed before Gloria announced her voluntary return to Mexico to face justice. In this way, on December 21st, 2002, the singer was transferred to Chihuahua, where she entered the Social Rehabilitation Center #1 of the state. Subsequently, 2 years later, Judge Javier Pineda ordered the immediate release of Gloria and Raquel because there was not enough evidence to assign any sentence. The singer and actress Gloria Trevi spent 4 years, 8 months, and 8 days behind bars waiting to be exonerated from all charges until September 21st, 2004. For his part, Trevi-Andrade received a sentence of 7 years and 10 months in prison for the crimes of kidnapping, aggravated transgression of minors, and corruption of minors. In addition, he was forced to pay 1 million pesos for damages. In the recounting of the damages, which is also the name of a song, Trevi ended up losing, but over time and thanks to her talent, she resurfaced, becoming once again one of the most important artists in Mexico. But if you like this video, don't forget to follow me on my social networks, and if you want me to make a video about another singer or artist, leave your comments below and see you tomorrow in a new video. Thank you.